Please bet on football games.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Please Bet on Football Games podcast. I am your host Alex, here with the on-air talent Joe. And Joe, we are back. The football season is here. We can bet on real football games. I know I'm excited, but how are you feeling?
I'm just sitting here trying to figure out how the 53rd man on each roster changes every single line.
Every win total needs to be adjusted after these waiver claims.
Yeah, like, frankly, any team that changes anything right now, other than like for injury purposes, is getting worse because there's just not that much available, right? Like, 90% of a good handicap is about not only the starters, but like the game changing starters and the coaches. So the hay's in the barn. Now it's just time to count the hay.
I like how you said that. Is that a real saying or did you make that up?
Dude, no saying I ever say is a real saying. I make analogies up as I go. If you're new to the pod, welcome. I make analogies up as I go. If you're not, you feel right at home already. Also, we're recording this in the middle of the workday while I steal time from my employer. Not really, because I'm not a wage worker anymore. Uh, that being said, let's try to break our annual tradition of 2 hours for the first pod.
Yeah, let's see if we can do a little bit better. I feel like we did some real good in-depth off-season stuff that maybe we won't need to go into everything, but God knows we're going to get distracted. So, you want to jump into Thursday night football to kick off the season?
We might as well jump. Jump!
Kicking off the NFL season, we have the Dallas Cowboys going to play the Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday night. The Eagles are -7.
Another one of the running themes of this pod is that I just don't understand why the Cowboys are interesting to everybody. And I know they are. I know everybody cares about the Cowboys, but I cannot be bothered to. They're just not very interesting to me. And this opening game is gonna kind of suck. Because like it's 7. You can't lay 7. But if you're looking to bet on the Cowboys, you're a fool. This is a perfect matchup game. The Cowboys' defensive line is okay, but it is small. And it might not have Micah Parsons, which makes it less okay. The Eagles have the best offensive line in football and probably the best running back in football and are just going to run it for 6 yards a clip. And then, like, you factor in it's going to be a raucous crowd, rivalry game in Philly, new coach in Dallas who we're not fans of. I The Eagles are going to win this game. I just don't know if they win it by more than a touchdown.
Yeah, that's my feeling too. And week one's always so sloppy nowadays, where it's hard to predict. Like, obviously now we have like some patterns. Like the Bengals typically start like shit. But the Eagles and the Cowboys, I don't know if either of them have a strong tendency, especially because Dallas has a new coach and probably their best player isn't playing.
Well, or he does play, but even if Micah Parsons plays, he's not a good run stuffing edge. He's a speed rusher, right? He's an undersized speed rusher. And that's not what you want across from Jordan Mailata. Like, I, it's just a matchup problem. And like as much as the run game doesn't matter, the Cowboys have no fucking answer on earth. And then when you flip to the other side of the ball, it gets even worse because the Cowboys offensive line is a wreck. Like I like their center and I like their left guard, right? I still don't know if it's BB or Beeb, but I like Beeb at center. He'll be a solid center. Uh, you know, I like Tyler Smith at left guard. I'm kind of surprised they didn't kick him out to tackle with the injuries they're experiencing. But Tyler Guyton sucks. And Tyler Booker is a rookie. I like him, but he's a rookie. And then Terrence Steele has a long history of being the epitome of mid. And that is going up against the Eagles' vaunted defensive line. And even though they lose Josh Sweat, I almost called him Josh Hunt. I married the two. Jalix Hunt, which is the most interesting name I've ever heard of in my entire life. Uh, Jalix Hunt and Jalen Carter are still a fierce pairing. And then, they've got Nolan Smith. They'll rotate in a myriad of Georgia defenders, Jordan Davis to help plug up the middle. Like, I I don't see any angle in which the Cowboys are not significant underdogs here, but I also don't want to bet laying 7 on the Super Bowl favorite in week 1. That is the squarest possible thing you can do, and also we just hate numbers that are that big.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to I don't want to bet that big of a number, especially in week one where things are unpredictable and the Eagles are coming off of a Super Bowl win and all that that offseason entails. I think we just pass it.
Yeah, I think passing it is the right way to go. Next game.
Next up, we have the Kansas City Chiefs traveling to play the Los Angeles Chargers on Friday night. Currently, the Chiefs are -3.
Yeah, and it's juiced, right? So like this is moving towards Chargers plus 3.5. And it's trying me because I kind of want the Chargers because like I love Justin Herbert. And did you know that he's fucking Madison Beer? That changes everything.
Does
Um,
it?
dude, honestly, I know it doesn't. I know it doesn't change anything, but I kind of feel like it does. I don't feel like fucking Madison Beer changes anything, but I feel like Justin Herbert being in a place where he's like open to the idea of leveraging the fact that he is probably the most eligible American human we have is big because he hasn't done that as a quarterback on the football field or like with his football franchise. And that has been like my biggest knock on him, right? He's great at football, but like he doesn't demand an offensive coach. He doesn't demand wide receivers. He doesn't seem to mind that his team is just constantly being mismanaged into hell. And maybe the guy who is confident enough to fuck Madison Beer in public, well, you know what I mean, not actually. Maybe that guy's different, but probably not. And it probably has nothing to do with anything to the effect that, to the extent, third time's the charm, that he is any different. We'll see it on the field shortly. Um, okay, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. Have you heard? They may not have Rashee Rice,
Yeah.
he may finally be serving a 6-game suspension for nearly killing 12 people a year and a half ago or so, which is groundbreaking. The NFL is really progressive, pushing boundaries, trying to make things right.
This is police state bullshit.
I like my wide receivers on the precipice of murder.
What business of the NFL's if one of their employees kills a bunch of people?
By the way, this is all alleged. I wasn't there. I haven't even seen video. None of this is a legal opinion. We're just talking shit for fun. Uh,
Same.
Also not betting advice. Don't bet. Even don't also read the title of the podcast. Looking looking at depth charts, the Chargers are going to be the Chargers yet again. Like, yes, they got a Marion Hampton. He's a good running back. Finally, they'll have a running game, but it's going to end up being a very vanilla run game up the middle with a mediocre offensive line and no outside presence to speak of because suddenly we're looking at Keenan Allen. Yes, the same Keenan Allen,
He's
who
back, baby.
the same Keenan Allen who wasn't athletic enough to play on the outside in his prime is now playing on the outside in his mid 30s. That's bad. Uh I don't know if he'll start. Obviously, like we don't have real depth charts yet, but like he's scheduled to play X. And then Trey Harris is scheduled to play Z with Lad McConkey in the slot. McConkey's great. but a slot receiver does not an offense make. And also, he's going to have Trent McDuffie lined up across from him every single fucking snap. And Trent McDuffie can take a dude out of a game. So this game is going to be week one. Can Justin Herbert go toe to toe with Patrick Mahomes using Trey Harris, a 24-year-old rookie, as his number one receiver, or the corpse of Keenan Allen? Yikes. Maybe Keandre Lambert Smith starts at X. I hope he does, frankly. I think that's a much better option for the Chargers than Keenan Allen, but I don't know what their plans are. And currently, their depth chart lists Keenan Allen as the starter. Again, that could totally change. I don't fucking know, but it's a tough proposition. And then, you know, the Chargers defense is good. Jesse Minter's a really good defensive coordinator, but real good defenses never stop real good offenses. And I think that the Chiefs are probably going to have a big time bounce back year on offense. Do you have anything to add before I just slobber all over Andy Reid?
No, go for it. I think we've already covered the Chargers and their many flaws all summer long. So yeah, jump into the Chiefs.
Hollywood Brown's healthy. I think that changes almost everything for this offense, even if they don't have Rashee Rice. Because Hollywood Brown's a legitimate deep threat. And like, even though he's teeny, he can play X because he's just so dangerous if he gets free. And then on the other side, you've got Xavier Worthy, who's like the ultimate gadget. If he could catch, he would be a stud. Fastest man in combine history. And then, yeah, like missing Rashee Rice sucks. But at worst, you have Juju Smith Schuster in the slot, who's at least reliable and like he's the opposite of inept. He's competent, right? Like he can do the things that your offense requires. He can't do them well, but he could do them. What I'm more excited about is the offensive line because you still have Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey who are elite, elite, elite at guard and center. But now you add Josh Simmons at left tackle, and he's a really good left tackle as a rookie, day one. The only reason he was not a top five pick is because he had weird blood clots or something in his leg. I don't fucking know. He had a weird injury. You know who else had a weird injury? Actually, blood clots in his leg is Trey Smith. Turns out he was still just as good as a rookie as he was the 4 years starting at Tennessee as a five-star recruit. Josh Simmons will be largely the same story, despite not being a five-star recruit. They've then kicked Kingsley Suamataia, a freakishly athletic tackle from BYU last year. He was a tackle. Now he's a guard. So that'll make his job easier. Will he be Joe Tooney? Fuck no. But you go from having an offensive line of three really good offensive linemen to three good offensive linemen plus whatever the hell they can create out of Kingsley Suamataia. And then, yeah, Jawan Taylor is going to be false starting over on the right side, not being any good, but existing. And Travis Kelce will probably suck all regular season because Taylor Swift will be sucking all regular season. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But actually, like he probably will suck all regular season, and then he'll care again in the playoffs.
But
Patrick Mahomes can't suck this year, right? Like at this point, if he has a down year again, it's just who he is. So, I mean, 3 straight years of oh, that's not very good means maybe he's just not very good, but we'll see. I think the Chiefs are probably better than last year. I think the Chargers are probably the same exact fucking thing as last year. And this
yeah,
game is being played in, I think, Brazil. So I kind of don't want to bet it unless I could maybe get the Chargers plus 3.5. But even still, I kind of don't want to bet it.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the voodoo angles. Like one, the Chiefs are coming off of losing the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but they're used to that. They
Yeah,
play in the Super Bowl
and
every year.
but they got pumped.
They did. Oh, so you're saying they'd be motivated, not tired. Yeah.
I think it's gonna like maybe counteract some of the tired because maybe they started to get a little complacent, or at least it's how they view it. Um, I do think the offense improved talent wise, but it does kind of come down to can Mahomes play like an elite quarterback like he did the first few years? Or is he kind of this like product of the system that occasionally does really exciting things? Because that's the difference between them like kind of like being no matter what they're going to be good. We all know that. But it's the difference between them like oh wow, yeah, they're going to win the Super Bowl pretty much all season long to some of that feeling we had last year of yeah, I mean they're good, but are they like actually good or is it just everyone else kind of stinks?
That's exactly what it is. Like, man, the Chargers are starting Keenan fucking Allen, and their defensive line is starting Bud Dupree.
Yeah, like it's just too much of the same from last year where it was a flawed roster and it continues to be a flawed roster.
Yeah, I think the Chargers defense will be solid again this year. Not great, but solid. And I think their offense will be whatever Justin Herbert can make of it. But week one against the current hegemon of the league with so many rookies playing at so many key positions, like if the Chargers roll out their optimal lineup, their two outside receivers and their running back will all be rookies in their first ever football game playing in Brazil against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. That's just a lot.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like, I mean, I if you could get Chargers 3.5, that feels like a good kind of value bet. Like, who knows? It's division game, weird spot. Like, it's hard to account for some of that voodoo.
Chiefs love to play close games, especially in prime time, especially early in the season.
Right. So like you're getting that good leeway, but I don't know. It would feel more like a, you know, and I want to bet on the Friday night game in Brazil more so than I actually like this bet.
Yeah, like I'll throw it maybe pile in case we need a fifth pick, but yeah, no, there's just not an angle.
Yeah, I agree. And we are on to the first Sunday of the year. Kicking us off, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers going to play at the New York Jets. The Steelers are -3. Again, juiced, so probably going to go to 3.5.
I mean, this line's crazy, right?
Yes.
Like even if Aaron Rodgers is totally washed and does indeed suck, more so and in a more degrading manner than Taylor Swift, then this should still be a blowout because the Jets can't move the ball. I'm sorry to the flight attendant, the lady birdwatcher, but this is going to be the most depressing season in the history of the NFL. Like, where's the hope? Like, the Jets may run the ball every fucking play. And if you're running the ball every play into TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, uh, actually, you don't even need to go nickel personnel because you're just not going to fucking, they're not going to pass. So Keanu Benton, Cam Hayward, Isaiah Loudermilk, TJ Watt, and Alex Highsmith, you're not going to move the ball, especially with the homie Peyton Wilson behind him.
I was
And
about to say.
Patrick Queen can still run around and, try to do stuff. So I don't know how the Jets so much as like score a touchdown. Jay Cutler went to prison for 4 days.
Yeah. He got a I read this story. I think he got a DUI and he hit somebody's car and he offered the person like a few grand to not report it and they said, "No, I'm calling the police."
I've never loved Jay Cutler more in my life. Every
It's an incredibly Jay Cutler thing to do.
Nothing could be more Jay Cutler, and also who amongst us wouldn't? Um, Back to the depressing Steelers and Jets. Let's say Aaron Rodgers is just a corpse, and he is Atlanta Falcons level Kirk Cousins. The talent mismatch is gigantic. You're still going to have DK Metcalf to stretch the field. And Aaron Rodgers' deep ball last year was still pretty good. You're still going to have a much better offensive line than the Jets defensive line. Because like remember 2 years ago when people are like, oh, the Jets D line's fucking sick. Yeah, it turns out Jermaine Johnson and Will McDonald, yeah, they're nothing. They never were. Will McDonald was a somewhat productive 24-year-old rookie out of Iowa State. And Jermaine Johnson existed on an offense or on a defensive line. He was nothing. People wanted him top 5 in the draft. No. No. He was is it Jalen Walker, the defensive end out of
Yeah.
yeah, he was or Michael, whatever the fuck. The Georgia defensive ends that actually weren't any good at Georgia but got drafted in the first round because they went to Georgia. Jermaine Johnson was the FSU version a few years ago. They're all nothing. Leonard Williams, nope. Quinnen,
Wrong era.
New York, and it's Williams's. Uh, Quinnen Williams is sick. Quinnen Williams is sick. But I think that the Steelers' game plan is going to be run, 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 play action, pass deep, because that's kind of what they've done under Arthur Smith generally, and it's kind of what DK Metcalf and Aaron Rodgers lend themselves to anyway. And now that slow old one-eye Najee is out of the picture, I think that they'll be better at that game plan with Jalen Warren. I think that the Jets defense will be mediocre this year. I don't think it'll be good, and I think it would need to be insane for them to win 6 games. I think the Steelers, if Aaron Rodgers sucks, are a okay-ish team, like a 6 or 7 win team. And I think if he's any good, they could very easily be a 9 or 10 win team. I don't think he will be very good. I think he'll be spot average, but regardless, this is a mediocre team versus a terrible team, and we're laying 3. So we're laying 3.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like to me, it comes down to both offenses are somewhat similar in that they have not very good quarterbacks that can still do one or two things pretty well. They have decent, not great lines. They have one really good receiver, and they've got a pretty good running back or kind of like running room for a running game. They're both going to want to run the ball a lot and occasionally take deep shots. But the Steelers' defense, while the secondary is still like, that front seven is absolutely disgusting and will make Justin Fields' life absolute hell. Whereas the Jets' defense is like, okay. I mean, Quinnen Williams is still very good, but the rest of that defense is like a lot of guys that are like, they should play, but they're not really moving the needle for them. So, I mean, I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game, but laying 3 is feels like a good line for us.
We can get this at even odds at circa -3, or we can pay -120 and get it at -2.5. I'd rather lay the 3. I think there's going to be a biggie. I think this one's going to be not fucking close.
And just because I've been interested in trying to track some of these patterns of like week one by teams, the last 3 years. So last year the Steelers beat the Falcons 18-10 in week one. 2 years ago they got wiped by the 49ers 30-7. And then the year before that they beat the Bengals in overtime 23-20. Now, they've had different quarterbacks for pretty much all of those seasons, but they still come out. Tomlin can still get them ready.
Well, Tomlin is getting a week 1 performance from his players that is equal to what he gets for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got blown out by the 49ers. Guess what? Week 10, they're still getting blown out by the 49ers. That roster was not good enough. But at the least, they're hanging with the Bengals. They're hanging uh who's the other one?
I mean, they got well run by the 49ers the year before.
Yeah, but they're always going to get run by the 49ers. What's the other one that they beat?
They beat the Falcons and they beat the
Yeah.
Bengals.
So the teams that are in their caliber or below, they're hanging with or beating, and the teams that are way outside their fucking range are still way outside their fucking range. I think that's a decent indicator. Also, it's a first year head coach in his first ever NFL game with the Jets, and not a good one. So I don't know. You want to lay 1 unit or 2, or do you want to wait on that part?
I think we do one for now. just because we still got a lot of games to go through, and I'm sure you've already kind of picked all your bets, but I haven't really looked at these numbers yet. So,
I totally have. But let's move to the next game.
all right, so lock it in. Pittsburgh -3, at least
Cha-ching.
one unit, even odds.
Yep.
Next up, we have the Miami Dolphins going to play the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are -1.5.
This is a ballsy bet because we know the Colts have a good offensive line. They have awesome wide receivers. They have a really good running back. And we think that Shane Steichen is still a good offensive coach. But they have Daniel Jones, and he does suck. But he's better than Anthony Richardson. That much is very clear.
Their weapons are so good.
But is he better than Joe Flacco was last year? I don't fucking know. And then down in Miami, like their offensive line is patchwork. It probably sucks. The quarterback is Tua. We know he sucks. But we love A Chain and we love Waddle. And like Tyreek Hill probably still is alive. I, I basically only hear from him when he's demanding a trade or like having another baby mama. But assuming he's alive and well, he's still great at football. So that's tricky. Um,
And worth noting, don't know if A-Chain's going to play.
no, I think they just said today that he will.
Oh, they did.
But it's it's a risky bet because the offense is, let's call them a wash, right? Like we know that as long as McDaniel is there, the Miami offense will be okay, especially when they don't have to, have a track meet. But then on defense, it's even more perplexing because I kind of like what both teams are doing, but I'm not sure they're ready. Like I really like the Colts adding Mooney Ward and they've got Kenny Moore in the slot who, he had been considered elite forever and he never was, but when he's back in the slot, he's actually very good. And then their defensive interior is really good between Grover Stewart and DeForest Buckner. So like there are pieces that are real good. Apparently Xavier Howard might come up from the grave to start at CB2 for them, which is
Really?
nuts. And would really not be favorable for them if Jalen Waddle is running deep on the corpse of Xavier Howard. But you flip to the other side of the ball. Who's healthy for the Dolphins defensive line? Because if it's Jalen Phillips and Chop Robinson, that might be the best combo in the league. But it never is because they're always hurt. And then their secondary doesn't exist. But can Daniel Jones hit anything? I don't know.
I mean, I feel like with those wide receivers and Steichen spoon feeding him, like there got to be people that get open because they've got three guys in Pittman, Pierce, and Downs that all can consistently get open against the secondary. So like he doesn't have to be good. He doesn't like he barely even has to be average. But that still feels like it's asking a lot from him.
Yeah, and like so I will give Daniel Jones credit. He's actually pretty accurate to the intermediate level of the field. He just can't throw deep at all whatsoever. And that kind of fits well with what Steichen does. Like he doesn't throw deep. It's not a deep ball team. It's a spread him out intermediate level offense, and that's actually where Daniel Jones excels to the extent that he does. I lean the Colts just because they're a more complete team. But again, it's a lot of risk and it feels very uncertain.
Yeah, I'm same boat. I'd be fine with putting a maybe pile, but I don't really want to bet on the Colts when
Well,
we haven't seen Daniel Jones play with them and like what their plan is and everything.
it's not even so much that I don't want to bet on the Colts as much as I don't want to bet against the Dolphins just yet because I feel like the PR with the Dolphins is terrible. And I always automatically kind of want to fade the Dolphins because I know what Tua is. But It's also Mike McDaniel coaching for his job. And I have to imagine he has something in his bag. Now, if he doesn't, if Miami comes out here and gets raced, we're going to be fading them all year long. But I need a little more info before I go buck wild.
Yeah, I'm kind of same boat. That's fine with me letting both of these teams show us a little bit who they are, and then we can kind of reevaluate.
Yeah, I mean, like it's a very actionable line, so it's a maybe pile, but let's keep cruising through the early slate.
All right, next up, we have the Carolina Panthers going to play the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jags are -3,
So this might be the best bet of the week.
right?
Like, how in the mother of fuck? Uh, Jacksonville is the pick. If you're not watching the YouTube video and can't see me already typing it in, this is 2 units, maybe three for me. So I'm really high on the Jaguars this year. I think that not only did they upgrade at head coach slash play caller, but I think that they're built in a way that will take advantage of it. By which I mean they have really good running backs. I particularly like how ETN fits in this offense because he is kind of similar to Bucky Irving in that he can run that outside zone. When he gets in space, he's pretty dangerous and he can catch the ball out of the backfield. I think that Etienne will be like the guy who really sees the benefit of Liam Cohen's offense. I also like, I don't love Travis Hunter, but they're going to use him creatively. And I love Brian Thomas Jr. And I think that Brian Thomas Jr. will be Liam Cohen's trump card because he can do all the Mike Evans things with him, but he can also move him into the slot for Yak because he's such a freaky athlete. And then Trevor Lawrence is just going to be asked to do easy shit, right? Like it's going to be a lot of screens, a lot of runs, and then like well designed downfield shots rather than what, Peterson had him trying to do, which was a lot of dink and dink and dink and dunk and then bomb. So I like this offense. I like this fit. I like this roster. And I hate the Panthers. I don't understand any reason for optimism. We are we are like 3 games removed from Bryce Young still being one of the worst starting quarterbacks of the generation. And he has like 2 good games against bad teams, and we think that he's back and it's just he's gonna be the good forever. I don't know about that at all. So we know for a fact we have the better quarterback and the better offensive coordinator slash head coach on the Jaguars. Period. I think the Jaguars have a decent offensive line. And I think the Panthers defense is terrible. Like their starting defensive line is apparently Treshawn Wharton, fine. Like undersized 3 technique, fine. Something called Pat Jones is their starting defensive tackle number 2. Well, this is different because apparently it could be Bobby Brown or it could even be Derek Brown, who's actually good. The defensive tackles are not a strength for this team, and the edges are much, much worse. So the defense is bad up front. That's how you stop a Liam Cohen defense, right? Is you stop the run. And like Christian Roseboom is not going to be the linebacker who changes everything for you, right? A Trevin Wallace. Like these are guys I've not heard of, and I've heard of everybody. So they're not stopping the run, which means Trevor Lawrence won't even come into play. But God forbid they do decide to pass the ball. JC Horn is a really good matchup for Brian Thomas Jr. What the fuck are they doing to stop the slot? Because Mike Jackson is not a cornerback, too. And I think it's Chauncey Smith Wade, goes by Chaw. Yeah, that's not the answer for Travis Hunter. Like this is a nobody defense that does not have the kind of defensive coordinator that would inspire you to believe in them anyway. I don't understand. I don't understand why this line is the way it is.
I mean, I think it is Liam Cohen in his first head coaching game.
Don't give a fuck.
And then I guess it's probably buying that Bryce Young at the end of last season is what Bryce Young is, which I think is a pretty big projection. But I don't know how else you get to a line like this.
I I don't see any of it. I don't like any of it. I'm betting the Panther or the Jaguars, and I'm betting them for at least 2 units.
Okay.
Cha-ching.
Yes. Tentative best bet.
Definite best
Jackson,
bet.
definite best bet.
Dude, this is free money.
I mean, I haven't seen any of these other picks yet, so I don't know what some of these other lines are looking like.
Fair. Okay. Well, we'll put in at least 2 units. We might make that bitch grow.
All right, lock it in. Jacksonville over Carolina, -3 at -105 odds. That's
Crazy.
going to be a best bet. Currently 2 units, potentially three. We will revisit.
Cha-ching.
Next up, we have the New York Giants going to play the Washington Commanders. The Commanders are -6.
I have ever so slight a lean towards the Giants just because it's a big number, and I think the Giants will be vastly improved, but it's scary because the Commanders are a better team, or at least should be. So we know the Commanders' offense every single time. They're going to throw screens to Debo. They're going to throw deep balls to McLaurin. You can stop them if you can tackle the screens, if you can thwart the mesh, and if you force Daniels to throw the deep ball. This is a fairly small defensive line for the Giants. So the run game will work on it, right? Like Dexter Lawrence is incredible, but Brian Burns and Abdul Carter and Kayvon Thibodeau are all kind of like pass rush first type dudes. They're all get upfield type guys. So I don't know that they'll be able to stop the run very well at all this year. And then as far as tackling goes, tackling on the screens, your boy Paulson Adebo's here, so that's good for them. He's good at that. He's also good at winning early in the play, right? Like jamming dudes at the line. But then Deontay Banks and Andrew Phillips, I'm not sure about their tackling. I know that Deontay Banks can't tackle. He does everything. He does everything kind of poorly except stay sticky in coverage. Like he's always covering you, but he might not do anything with it. Kind of like Eric Stokes a little bit. Uh Andrew Phillips is better about it, but then your linebackers are fucking Bobby Okereke and Micah McFadden. I don't like that against mesh. So it's scary. The Giants defense is going to be a lot better this year. It might even be good this year, but this just isn't the matchup I want. Because like even if you get crazy pass rush from Burns and Thibodeau and Carter, you don't pass rush an air raid offense to win because you can't get a sack on a screen or a quick mesh. So that's tricky.
Yeah, I think it's a bad matchup for the Giants defense in
Definitely.
terms of like where their strengths lie.
And then the way that the Giants are going to work on offense this year under Russ Wilson is can we throw deep? And like you can in theory, Russell Wilson is still decent at throwing the deep ball. You will have opportunities. I'm sure Brian Dable will scheme some shit up well. You're going to be able to stop the pass rush. I mean, the Commanders cannot rush the passer. The corpse of Von Miller is not rushing the passer in week one. It still might not rush the passer in the playoffs, but it's definitely not doing anything in the regular season. Man,
All right, my patterns that might throw a little bit of cold water on this is last 3 years of week one, all under Dable, granted with Daniel Jones, but last year they lost 28-6 to the Vikings in week one,
we expect that.
right? Uh, 2023, they lost 40-0 to the Cowboys.
That's not good.
And then 2022, they beat the Titans 21-20 after a late game rally where they were down by 13 points
I
and
remember
then
that game.
came back to win. Yeah, because I'm almost positive we bet on the Titans.
3 years ago, yes, we always bet on the Titans. And then you tell me we don't bet on the Titans, and I say, I don't care. I love it anyway. Their roster is so undervalued. Fuck it. Even if Vrabel sucks, it's worth it. And then they lose or they don't
Yeah.
cover because Vrabel. And now he's back to torture us. Fuck this game. Let's talk about that game
Yeah,
because I don't want to talk about Browns Bengals.
at
Actually,
all.
fuck. I kind of actually, wait, hold on. I do.
I was about to say, are you sure?
Dude, I think the Browns are going to fucking cover that game,
I mean, the Bengals are notorious slow starters.
which means they will start fast because it's all they care about. But I
Yeah,
think the
I mean,
Browns are tremendously underrated.
it has been like a key part of the Bengals offseason focus is they're like, we have to start better because
We
we
are going
start
to
like
get
shit.
we are going to get the best version of the Bengals we've ever seen in an early season game in this
All right,
game.
hold on first. Should we introduce this game before we dive in too deep?
Yeah.
Next up, we have the Cincinnati Bengals going to play the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are +6, or I guess the Bengals are -6 if we're doing favorites.
We know who your favorite is. You're back.
I'm tentatively back.
You're tentatively back. Dude, Deshaun Watson is basically off the roster. I love that they just keep saying, like, oh, we're keeping three quarterbacks. It's like, no, dude, you have four. You still have Deshaun Watson. He's not dead. You can't kill him. Um, unless you're driving a car, and then you'd only be suspended like what? A sixth of a game? Rasheed Rice. Timeout. I gotta do my job for a second. If we take for granted that the Bengals defense is just going to be terrible, just terrible, even with Trey Hendrickson, because it was terrible last year and they didn't really get any better. Like their corners are still weak. Outside of Trey Hendrickson, their defensive line is still okay. And their safeties kind of suck. I also think they downgraded pretty dramatically at defensive coordinator by hiring Al Golden and firing Lou Anarumo. And I don't think anybody realizes that they've downgraded pretty dramatically in that move. So, so I think the Bengals defense is just going to be like a cakewalk. And then, dude, I know Joe Flacco's old and kind of sucks, but God forbid Quinshawn Judkins plays. You know,
I don't think he's playing week one.
well,
He's still not signed.
well, it's hard to sign a guy when he's, being investigated for choking a lady out. And then it's hard to sign a guy when suddenly that entire criminal litigation just disappears out of the blue, which makes it all the more fishy.
Yeah, well, I think the NFL is still like investigating him too, so he
As
might still
they
get suspended.
goddamn should. But even if he doesn't play, I like Dylan Sampson. I like Dylan Sampson a lot, actually. Despite the fact he's tiny, he's really good between the tackles. So, the Browns offense is going to be a lot of the Stefanski specials. It's going to be a lot of wide zone, hopefully with Dylan Sampson, but we don't know. It's going to be a lot of the play action bootleg roll to the left and throw to Njoku in the drag to the left, and then he tries to get yak, and it always gets 5 to 7 yards. And it's going to be a lot of designer routes for Jerry Judy. I think the Browns will be fine. Like on offense, I think they will be a mediocre offense. And on defense, I think they'll be fucking good. Like Denzel Ward is healthy, right? He's not dead yet.
Yeah, from everything I know.
Okay. And you got Newsom. He's good. So, I mean, like, you're matching up well with the 1 and 2. You have Miles Garrett. So you're going to have a pass rush, even if Joe Tryon is the other end, which does suck. But Miles Garrett is probably going to get 2, 3 sacks just off Joe Burrow not handling the pocket well alone, plus whatever he actually earns by beating Orlando Brown Jr. So, dude, I wouldn't be shocked if the Browns won this fucking game. I like Browns +6. I actually like it. Like, Joe Flacco is competent. We've seen him in this offense. It's enough. It's not good, but it's enough. And the defense is the best it's probably been.
Yeah, I mean, I think the issue with Flacco, is the turnovers and that he's just a little washed, but this defense is
This
bad.
Bengals defense turns everybody into the fucking '07 Patriots.
Right. So I think that weakness gets mitigated a little bit by the fact that the Bengals secondary is horrible.
Dude, I like it. I want to throw it on there. What,
I
what
think the Browns should be able to move the ball a little bit. I mean, they're not going to be a good offense, but I think they're going to roll with a lot of two tight ends
is this in
and be able
Cleveland?
to feast off of that because we know how Kevin Stefanski likes getting tight ends open. They have two good athletic pass catchers between Njoku and Fannin. And then Judy's great. I think the line will be solid, at least starting now, because everyone's mostly healthy. Who knows what happens when Jack Conklin inevitably gets a season-ending injury in week 3.
As one does.
But right now, it's a pretty solid offensive line. I like Sampson. I mean, he's a rookie, so we'll see. But everyone that I respect likes him.
I
So
love
I
him.
think they'll be able to move decent. But I agree, it's going to be the defense. One, the Browns typically play really well against the Bengals because they can match up with their big two receivers. Denzel Ward always plays Jamar really well, and then Greg Newsome does solid. I mean,
Greg
T.
Newsom
Higgins is,
always does solid against anyone.
yeah, I
Greg
mean, T.
Newsom is the
Higgins isn't
definition
a
of solid.
great matchup for him, but they'll be able to move guys around and they'll be able to get after Burrow like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I want to throw it on the list. I'm not saying we throw units on it, but it's my favorite maybe of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like it more than Indy or the Giants because we know the Bengals start slow. They've again had another off season of one of their key cornerstone players being upset and holding out for the entire preseason. And I think they got worse, whereas I think the Browns got better. I mean, they added Schwesinger, who will actually give them a legitimate linebacker,
Finally.
um, which they haven't had since Joe got hurt.
Yeah.
The obviously the defensive line is going to be great when you have Myles Garrett and Mason Graham has apparently been doing really well. So I think they're going to be able to do well in the run and the pass. They've got good players all throughout the defense, including some truly elite ones like Denzel Ward and Myles Garrett. It's going to be a good defense. Bengals start slow, and I don't think the Bengals match up well with the Browns. I like it. I mean, it is scary because it's betting on the Browns in week 1, who also typically don't start hot. But I think they match up well, and we're getting 6.
Plus, if you want to play trends, if you want to play that game, even when the Bengals are really rolling late in the season, the Browns always give them a hard fucking time. And basically, as long as the Browns quarterback isn't Tyler Huntley, DTR, or Deshaun Watson, they beat the Bengals. And I think that Joe Flacco can be 2022 Jacoby Brissett caliber. Like eh, this fuck, I think if Dylan Gabriel's the starter, I think the Browns win or not win, cover. And I think Flacco's probably better than Gabriel still. Like it's just you need to do so little to run this Browns offense. And it's truly a testament to what a terrible quarterback Deshaun Watson is that he couldn't. But yeah, I've got a terrible fucking defense and an offense that struggles with this particular defense. And then on the other side, I've got an offense that is kind of always okay and a defense that has this offense's number. I love it catching 6. We got it at regular odds -110. Yeah, I think we're going to throw a unit on. One unit. Let's just put one unit.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
And
One
now you're
unit.
fully back.
Yeah, is this just a ploy to get me invested in the Browns week one?
Honestly, I was legitimately ready to completely skip this game. And then I looked at it one more time and I was like, wait a fucking second. I don't believe in the Bengals.
Yeah.
Um, oh, the next game's actionable, but it's gonna make me sad.
All right, so locking in, we have a 1 unit bet on Cleveland +6.
Hell yeah, Batman.
Next up, we have the Las Vegas Raiders going to play the New England Patriots. The Patriots are -3,
Fuck this game.
basically even odds.
This game sucks penis
Yes.
in the pejorative sense. It didn't want to, it wasn't forced to, but it decided it probably should. It was a chore. Uh, by the way, only 11% of bets in the Browns Bengals game are on the Browns.
Wow.
Yeah, we are extreme contrarians on that one. I fucking love it. Uh
A home dog catching basically a touchdown. Fuck
in
it. Let's
division,
go.
in division. Anyway, we're talking about the Patriots and their general suckage. So I had an epiphany last night. I was pissed off that the Patriots cut Braden
Epiphany.
Swinson. And I was thinking about like why the fuck did they cut Braden Swinson? Let's go look at their roster. Maybe there were people they really had to keep. And as I was looking through, I was like, I know that people are really enthused with this draft class and this free agency, but like they didn't get any better. Like they added Stephon Diggs. And if Stephon Diggs is totally healthy in his early 30s as a wide receiver who's a little bit undersized and kind of relied on quickness to begin with, if he's at his best and healthiest, he's a B plus player. And he probably isn't. So he's probably a B player. He's the only receiver worth a damn. Like Kyle Williams, maybe he becomes worth a damn, but he certainly won't be in week one. Pop Douglas, we've been waiting for him to be worth a damn for a long time, but he can't figure out how to run a fucking choice route. Hunter Henry's a good tight end. The offensive line kind of sucks. And like, we're not sure that Will Campbell is a tackle. He might be a. I think Will Campbell is most aptly compared to Quentin Nelson. I think he's an incredible guard. I think he would be an okay tackle. And his first baptism is Max Crosby. It's not good.
Yeah, not ideal.
So, and then like Garrett Bradbury, can't pass block worth a goddamn. Michael Onwenu, sometimes he's really good. A lot of the time he sucks. Uh, Morgan Moses, right tackle. He has been the epitome of a B minus tackle for the last 5 years, but he's in his late 30s. Is he still B minus or did he slip just one teeny notch and now he's C plus and it's bad, right? It's a not good offensive line with not good receivers and an okay run game. And even if Travion Henderson's everything that everybody wants him to be, and he's not, right? Like Travion Henderson's not Alvin Kamara in his prime. He's probably a lot more like Chase Brown. He's a receiving back who's really good at pass protection and he could run a little bit between the tackles. But there's a reason he wasn't a bell cow back at Ohio State. He's just not that kind of guy. So if you're going to run a power running game, Travion Henderson is not the guy you want under or behind your quarterback, which is why the Patriots are starting Ramondre Stevenson, who can't stop fumbling and is average at best. So this Patriots offense is basically Drake May, please save us, or oh fuck, we are fucked. And I don't think Josh McDaniels is a good offensive coordinator, not in the year 2025 of our Lord Jesus Christ. On the other side, I don't know that the Raiders can stop anybody unless Max Crosby is tackling them in the backfield. Like at one point, there was a feeling like maybe their defensive line is really good because Christian Wilkins, but he couldn't stop touching guys in inappropriate ways, especially with his lips. Talk about gay shit. If you do gay shit so hard that an NFL football player complains to HR that you were doing too much gay shit, you did some severely homosexual garbage to that man. I found synonyms for gay shit because I'm an adult. Um, so the Raiders defense is going to suck. The Raiders offense is probably kind of going to suck. They just brought Amari Cooper. They got him right out of the grave and they stood him up and they put some bandages around the decomposing flesh and he's going to play X, I guess. And apparently Jacoby Myers doesn't isn't getting traded, but he wants to get traded. And if he does get traded, he's going to the Patriots, but you're probably not trading him to the team that you play week one until at least after week one. Not that he moves the needle a ton either way. So, like, the Raiders are going to be, can Ashton Genty mitigate the fact that we suck at everything else on offense? And if it's a game of does this superstar quarterback transcend or does this superstar running back transcend, I pick to not watch the game. Because even if the Patriots were the better team, even if, and they might be, even if they were the clearly better team, it is Mike Vrabel laying 3, and we don't do that.
Exactly. I mean, neither of these teams are even mid. I
I
think
think
they're
they're both
both.
on the precipice of mid,
I think they're on the precipice, but like that's
but they're not
kind
there.
of the optimistic look of like they could get to mid this
Yes.
year.
If things go right, they might not be the worst thing.
And I think there's a lot of unknowns on both teams in terms of new coaches, new quarterbacks, a lot of roster turnover that I don't want to bet on this fucking
No,
game.
I don't want to watch this fucking game. Fuck this game, next game.
Absolutely. Next up, we have the Arizona Cardinals going to play the New Orleans Saints. The Cardinals are -6.5.
The Cardinals should not be laying -6.5 to anybody,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not betting on Spencer Rattler.
Yeah.
I know what he is, and it's not enough.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that the Saints may very well cover this game, but Spencer Rattler has started 6 games in the NFL and he's looked bad in 6 of them, and they've lost in 6 of them. And frankly, the Saints' decision to start Rattler over Shuck tells me a lot about their coaching staff and their team, and none of it's good. So, and Brandon Staley's the defensive coordinator, god damn it. So just no. I'll chart it for posterity, but I'm not going to enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't want to bet on this game either, but I do want to say one thing about them picking Rattler over Shuck. This, might be total spin zone cope, but I actually don't hate it from the standpoint of trying to help Shuck out.
Explain.
So,
I'm
okay,
glad that you're the one saying this instead of me, by the way, but continue.
yeah, again, like view it how you will, but they start the year at home against the Cardinals. Should be a very winnable game, but probably won't be. From Shuck's point of view, he's an old rookie that a lot of the fan base seemingly is already looking for reasons to bury him.
Yes.
It's going to be a home game, season opener in front of that crowd. They're going to be hyped up, loud, and, typically that helps the offense. But if they come out slow or he makes a bad play early, God, they could turn on him real quick.
Yeah.
Because the way the last few seasons have gone, the fact that people weren't happy about the pick to begin with, that could go wrong. And I think that's the best game of their start of their first four in terms of possibility for success, especially for Shuck. Because after that, they are hosting the 49ers, who, again, not as good this year, but
Yep.
still better than the Saints, and they're
Still the
definitely better than
49ers.
the Cardinals.
Yeah.
They've got the coaching advantage, they've got the continuity, they've got the experience,
Well,
all kinds of things.
also when Kellen Moore is looking at the schedule, he sees 49ers and he sees all the NFC championship appearances. He does not see that their current roster is dog shit on defense.
Yeah. So that's going to be another tough game where the defense might get after him or they just might be getting run and it's a 6-score game in the third quarter. Not a great situation. But my main two reasons for saying this are the next 2 weeks. Week 3 is at Seattle and week 4 is at Buffalo. Seattle, good defense, exotic defense.
Very.
Mike McDonald's going to send people from all over the place. They've got talent throughout. In Seattle, that's going to be like one of the harder matchups they have.
Yeah. For a quarterback, yeah.
And like, yeah, Seattle's offense might not be that great, so it might be close, but still, that's a tough game for a rookie quarterback coming into. And then week 4, you have at Buffalo, where, the defense isn't as good, but
But you're going to
they're
lose
going
to
to have to
Buffalo.
score every drive to try and keep up with that game in Buffalo, incredibly hostile environment, crazy fans. So it's like 4 straight weeks of either like pretty challenging to downright
You're going to
impossible
lose.
for a rookie to like jump in and succeed with. But then week 5 is, I think it's the Giants. They're hosting the Giants. Bad team, bad defense.
I think their defense will be good this year. But that's not what Kellen Moore's thinking.
They can get pressure, but I like their secondary is still bad. Their linebackers are still not good. So that's a much better situation. It's winnable. They're at home. And theoretically, at this point, Rattler has played 4 games, probably hasn't looked good in any of them. And maybe they're like 1-3, but they might be 0-4.
Yeah, if they're 0-4, I think we're looking at Shuck is coming in. But if you can hold off just a little longer and get to week 8, is that? Um, week 9. If you can get to week 9 against the Rams, then you've got Rams, Panthers, Falcons, Dolphins, Buccaneers, Panthers, Jets, Titans, Falcons. That is easy street. That's when you toss your rookie in and say, go build confidence and win the fan base. And to your point, one, if Spencer Rattler comes in and he sucks against this tough beginning of the schedule, now the fan base has turned on him and they're looking to Shuck. Two,
Exactly.
what like the reverse, if Shuck comes in and struggles at all, they're begging for Rattler immediately. Two, Tyler Shuck's agent did tweet about this at the exact same time that the Saints tweeted Spencer Rattler's our starting quarterback. He tweeted, I like the plan with a handshake emoji. Could just be agent posturing, could have nothing to do with anything. He could have been discussing something with his wife, but kind of seems like there was an agreement. Hey, we're going to let Rattler take the bullets. And if he's good enough that in the first 5 weeks, he shows like he can handle the Bills, he can handle the Saints, he can handle the 49ers, then he's a franchise quarterback and we don't need to fuck around. But if he can't, we will give Shuck the easier end of the schedule to see if he can't, prove himself and have a job next year.
Exactly. That's basically the point of it is they start tough with a lot of tough environments or good defenses, but it lightens up a lot. I mean, even with the Bucks, they, play twice towards the second half of the season. Like, yeah, the Bucks are a lot better than them, and they're probably going to have to catch up, but it's a Todd Bowles defense that is going to give opportunities for completions and, like easier reads for him.
Are you walking me quite directly into the last game of the early slate? Because I think you just did.
And I think that's a fitting spot, but all that's to say, Chuck, I think they might have a plan. And again, maybe it's spin zone, but I think they might have a plan that's setting him up to be able to get comfortable, have easier games to play in, and to maybe help get the fan base maybe not on his side, but less
Off
angry
his
about
throat?
him.
Yeah. Okay.
With that said, let's talk about the last game of the 1 o'clock slate, noon slate, wherever. We have,
Unfortunately for me, it's 1 o'clock now, but I'll live.
yeah, but is noon still your standard?
Always.
I'm fine with keeping noon as the standard. Anyway, closing out the early slate, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to play the Atlanta Falcons. The Bucks are -2.
Cha-ching. I mean, we
Yeah,
bet on the Bucks almost every week anyway, but this is a fucking ridiculous line again. Um, to your point earlier about Todd Bowles with the conservative defense and like it's always soft coverage, it's easy to dissect by just hitting quick little throws. Two things. One, Michael Penix is basically still a rookie. He doesn't like when you call him Penix. That's how his name's spelled. Sorry, I read. Michael Penix, I'm going to guess, does not yet have control of the offense to the extent that he can completely audible at the line, adjust everything for blitzes, and beat said blitzes with hot routes, with protection slides, or with complete play changes. That's just advanced shit that almost no first or second year quarterback has the authority, much less the ability to do. Additionally, the Buccaneers secondary is completely revamped. They now have four legitimate, not like starting corners, like they can start, but like four, like I want them starting on my team guys. So the depth not only allows them to have good players on the field, but more importantly, it means that they are inclined to play tougher coverage rather than that soft cloud bullshit that Todd Bowles has been addicted to in the past. So if you listened in the summer, Todd Bowles was talking a lot about wanting to play tougher coverages and having an epiphany of like how to run his defense better. And if you watch the playoff game against Washington, before both of their starting corners got hurt, they were playing lots of press man or at least press match. If you watch the preseason, yet again, with those much better corners, they're playing a lot of press coverage. If Todd Bowles' epiphany that he was talking about that would save and rectify his defense, which has been terrible for the last few years, is that he's going to play press coverage with the two highly drafted cornerbacks he acquired and his two healthy starters back. I think the Buccaneers are going to be a fucking juggernaut, and I think the Falcons still suck. Now,
I
the Falcons did beat the Buccaneers last year and give them hell, especially on D. Like, even when the Buccaneers were performing well against the Falcons, they were getting scored on left and right. But it's because Kirk Cousins was particularly adept at taking those quick routes, not minding that he was being blitzed and hitting the shorter routes, hitting the quick shit, moon balls into voids in zones that his receivers could run under. Penix did not do that shit. Penix cannot do that shit. Penix is bad. Penix really, really struggles when pressured. Enter Hassan Reddick, enter press coverage. I think that the Buccaneers are going to win this game by 2+ touchdowns. Sorry, Jacksonville. I think I'm changing my best bet.
see you were so quick to assign best bet on like the third game we talked about, and here we are.
I mean, I just can't believe that Tampa's only laying two.
The okay, so my response to that, or maybe playing a little devil's advocate, because I mostly agree with you and think that's a great number and we should take it, is sure that's what Todd Bowles is saying and maybe doing some more practicing of over the offseason and preseason. But what happens when they start playing more press and then they get beat for a long touchdown or two? Is he gonna be like, ooh, let me go back to my safe, comfortable defense that I love so much and doesn't give up giant plays? Everyone back up 10 yards.
Probably, but I don't mind because even if Todd Bowles reverts to this cloud defense, which he might, even if the defense is exactly the same scheme as it was last year, A, they now have two starting caliber cornerbacks that they didn't have last time.
Does help.
And B, they have Hassan Reddick instead of Joe Tryon.
Also helps.
And C, and this is the most important part, even with the worst defensive game plan I've ever seen in my life, and Kirk Cousins dicing it up quite perfectly, the Buccaneers were up a touchdown with the ball with less than 2 minutes left in field goal range, and they only lost due to a bullshit fumble and bad clock management by Todd Bowles. Bullshit fumbles don't happen that often. And Todd Bowles has he's vowed a lot of changes. We made the joke when we were doing the season preview, like if your head coach has promised to change everything that he does, then maybe you should have just got a new head coach.
Right.
While I agree, he has a new consultant who's running his fourth down decisions and his clock management. So we don't have to worry about him fucking that part up. And even if he disagrees and doesn't listen to him all the time, Instead of being like 0% the right decision, he'll be like 35% the right decision. And that's a dramatic increase, which wins them that Falcons game that they blew. So I like Tampa to win the game. -2 might as well be fucking money line.
Right.
Chris Godwin will not be playing. Emeka Ibuka is the same shit. So like I gave him a D on the draft grade because I was like, what the fuck? It's the same shit as Chris Godwin, who you just signed. Turns out it's going to at least come in handy to begin the season, especially with Jalen McMillan out. They're not going to have to deal with as much bullshit of Rashad White stealing carries from Bucky Irving. Like everything should be much more streamlined and simple. And apparently, this Grizzard guy is running Liam Cohen's basically the same fucking playbook. It's the Mike McDaniel playbook with a little bit of alterations, but with a bigger emphasis on throwing the ball down the field. That's
I like
music to my
that.
fucking ears, dude. So we have a lot of wiggle room because if everything goes the way I think it's going to go for the Buccaneers this year, I'd lay 6 and I'd set the line at like -8.5. We don't have to. So even if they're a touchdown worse than we think, we still probably have a decent bet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good with it. Like they are more talented. They've got the quarterback, they've got the playmakers, the defense is stronger.
Well, and frankly, when you see a line that you think is off by like 5 or 6 points, you should be scared unless you can really explain why it's that far off. And I think it's very simple. People see Michael Penix as a first round pick who beat out Kirk Cousins, who was super duper productive at the end of last year and is going to be a star. And Drake London's a star and Bijan Robinson's a star. And they don't recognize this team just lost their right tackle today. Caleb McGarry's not playing this year.
Yep.
They don't realize Michael Penix is not good and he did not look good. Michael Penix completed 3 balls last year. I'm not even fucking joking. I charted them. I can show you them after this video or after this Zoom. He completed 3 balls where he was aiming at a different receiver and missed so badly that someone else caught it. I think I'm fucking joking. Like I know it sounds like I'm joking. I heard Nate Tice mention it on Football 301, which is a great podcast, and it's like the only other football podcast any of you should listen to. And I was like, no fucking way. So I went and charted the games, and sure enough, 2 of them against Carolina, one of them against I want to say the Saints, but I know that's not right. Doesn't matter. He's very inaccurate. His pocket presence is terrible. He's got a big arm, but it's a long release. So, maybe his son gets a little fucking strip sack. But Michael Penix is the biggest reason that this line is mispriced. And then I don't think people are accounting for, I think there's always, Baker Mayfield's always underrated. And I think that that means that the people around him get overrated. Like people thought Dave Canales was a great offensive mind. No, he's fucking not. And they think that Liam Cohen's an incredible offensive mind. And it's like, he's good. He's very good. He might even be great. But like, are you guys not noticing the pattern that every single year there's a new offensive coordinator in Baker Mayfield's life, and every single year he plays the same, which is really good? So I love it. We're gonna bet on the Buccaneers a fucking lot this year, just like every year. And honestly, if all the sweet nothings that they've been whispering in my ear about Todd Bowles this summer are even close to true, we're gonna have to buy tickets to go see Baker Mayfield in the fucking Super Bowl.
Oh my goodness.
I
Oh my
think we would
goodness.
actually have to do that. I don't know where it is. I think it's in LA again, which I know a place to stay if we're going to LA.
I just saw that stadium. It is enormous.
It's beautiful too. The
It
inside is
is.
it's like the future.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like the pictures of like in 2005 when they were like, "Oh, in 2035, this is what the world's gonna look like,"
We
and
did
like
it
all
one
the
time in
buildings.
Inglewood.
Yeah.
The future is now, but only in Inglewood that one time. All right. To the late
So
slate.
Buccaneers, lock it in, -2, currently 2 units, maybe a little more. We'll revisit.
We'll revisit.
On to the mid-afternoon slate. First up, we have the Tennessee Titans going to play the Denver Broncos. The Broncos are -8.
I almost want to bet a prop that Cam Ward throws an interception because he's gonna get fucked up by this defense.
Yeah.
I mean, Cam Ward very inaccurate or very imprecise, right? Like he can thread the needle like Fulton Reed can hit the net, 1 out of 5. Like it's spotty accuracy, but the accuracy is there, right? Like when he hits it perfect, but he doesn't hit it a lot. Nobody misses more short throws than Cam Ward for no reason at all. He's also got really weird pocket presence where he just like kind of hangs out. Like you ever seen a boxer in the middle of a fight just put his hands at his side and you're like, "What the fuck are you doing? Put your hands up by your face. What this is dumb." He does that, but the football equivalent. And I don't think that's going to work when you're not in the ACC. I think in the NFL, that's how you die or fumble.
Yeah, especially against this Broncos defense.
Exactly, like with the sim pressures and the exotic fronts that Vance Joseph has taken to presenting, the great secondary, incredible secondary. Yeah. The Broncos are a solid team because their offense is not good enough to match their defense. If their offense was really good, they'd be a great team. The Titans have nothing. Cam Ward's not good. It's certainly not yet. He may never be. But, I think Cam Ward will eventually be a decent enough quarterback. He's never going to carry you. And right now, these Titans need carrying. Um, the offensive line is going to be okay. Like Zeitler can probably continue to be good for another year or two. Latham at right tackle will be mediocre. Dan Moore at left tackle will be mediocre, maybe a little below. I still believe that Skoronski can become a good guard, but he hasn't done it yet. His receivers are still fucking Calvin Ridley though and Van Jefferson. So like they're not open. They're not getting open on Pat Surtain and Riley Moss. It's just not happening.
Nope.
And you're going to be rushed by Bones Bonito and John Cooper, and they're fucking good at that. And then the homie Brandon Jones and Talafunga Huafunga or whatever the hell, Talanoa Huafunga, Talanoa Huafunga.
Nailed it.
For those of you watching the YouTube, I nailed it before I opened his profile on PFF. I would like that noted for the record. Um, yeah, so Ward is going to be basically out there by himself with a shit offensive coordinator slash head coach, a decent running game, mediocre at best receivers against a fucking crazy good defense. And then on the other side of the ball, it's Jeff Simmons versus the field.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be incredibly tough for Cam Ward and the Titans to move the ball at all. I mean, they're going to be able to get after him from a lot of different directions. They're not going to be able to run on it, and there's going to be a bunch of ball hawkers in the backfield ready to pick off any of those errant throws. So, I mean, I don't see the Titans scoring many points at all. Onto the other side, obviously, like the Broncos offense is not incredible. Like Bo Nix is still their quarterback, but the offensive line is good.
Real good.
Yeah, good with ability to be sick.
Yeah.
And then they've still got a bunch of weapons, and Sean Payton's gonna make a bunch of easy short throws that those weapons can get open, catch the ball, and move the sticks. And like you said, it's pretty much just Jeffrey Simmons on the defense and then a bunch of hope.
I mean, I like Tavondre Sweat a lot. I do. I
Yeah.
love him.
And I mean, Algerius Sneed, we're assuming last year was just kind of a lost year.
It was a blip. He's still really good. He has to be.
Yeah, like w we think that it was more the team was terrible and the season imploded, and it was kind of like, whatever, man. So, like, they have some pieces, but not a complete defense. And I think they're going to be on the field a ton in bad field position that, like, they're going to give up points. The issue is that it's 8 with the Broncos still not having a very good offense.
Oh yeah, no, we're not betting this. It's a nice leg.
Yeah, I think definitely good leg.
Great for
But
survivor contests.
do you want, yeah, I guess, because I don't feel like you're going to be dying to pick the Broncos a lot of other times, but who knows? Yeah, Broncos, they're going to win that game, but eight's too big of a number. Let's move on.
I think the wrong
Next.
team might be favored in this one.
Yeah, I agree. Next up, we have the San Francisco 49ers going to play the Seattle Seahawks. The 49ers are minus 2.5.
So we got another home dog, and I don't get it. I know that like I famously hate San Francisco, but I don't get it. Who's alive for the 49ers, real quick?
Yeah, I don't know.
So their starting
Ricky
wide
Pearsall,
receivers, their starting wide receivers are going to be Ricky Pearsall and Sky Moore. They probably get Kendrick Bourne because he's probably going to get cut today. So your wide receivers are passable, I guess. And then your offensive line is not very good. Dominic Pooney's hurt. Trent Williams, he can't just be perfect forever, right? Like one day he's got to age.
yeah.
How
And
fucking old
even
is
if
he?
he ages and takes a step back, he's still far and away the best offensive lineman they have.
But like they rely on him so much. He can't be that fucking good in his 40s. And he's like 37.
And
Oh
he
my
had
God, I nailed it.
cancer.
Look at me, dude. Again,
And
the
just
people on the
turned
YouTube will see that I called that before I opened this. Oh, dude, he turned 37 a week ago. Nice. Um, yeah. I don't know where they're throwing the ball. I don't think Purdy's good. I think this defense is particularly good at stopping this kind of offense too. Because the Seahawks defense is predicated upon stopping the run, right? They're going to have three defensive linemen out there at the same time, plus DeMarcus Lawrence, who's good against the run. So it's going to be a heavy front. You can't really run on it, even if Christian McCaffrey's healthy, which I still don't believe he is. I know that everybody says he is. There's just no way.
Yeah, I mean he's had so many lower body injuries, and last year wasn't it like a blood flow issue to his knees or
Yeah,
something?
blood wasn't flowing to either of his knees, so all the cartilage was dying.
Yeah,
This
I'm sure he's the same. He
this
came back better.
this man is Lieutenant Dan. Uh, yeah, and so like the Seahawks, their defense is actually fucking sick. I was about to say that the secondary is their weakest point, and it probably is because like yeah, Shaq Griffin might be starting at cornerback, but Reek Woolen's really good most of the time, and Witherspoon's sick. The front four is perfect for stopping the run. So, like, how again do the 49ers move the ball? Like, obviously they will. It's Kyle Shanahan. That's how. Like, they will find ways. But it's a really good matchup for this particular offense. And then if you flip to the other side of the ball, the Seahawks have dramatically improved their offensive line, right? Because they're adding their right tackle back, Abe Lucas, and they're adding Gray Zabel, who's going to be a good guard. I like their new offensive coordinator, Kubiak, Clint, not Cliff. Clint?
Yeah, I think.
Clint. Um, and then I don't think that the 49ers have anything left on defense. It's Nick Bosa, it's Fred Warner. That's it. Like, look at the rest of these dudes. Do you recognize any of these fucking dudes? I know you recognize Jordan Elliott because he sucks but keeps on playing football.
Of course, the swim move aficionado himself.
Yeah, it's Michael Williams. We know he's not good. And Alfred Collins. I actually do like Alfred Collins, but not that much. So I think the way you stop this offense is you put Darnold under pressure, and he's not going to be pressured because they don't have the guys to do it. And like worst case scenario, you just double Nick Bosa all day and handle the rest pretty easily. Get the ball out to your bevy of slot receivers because that's all Seattle has really.
Mhm.
I think the wrong team's fucking favored here, dude. I think Seahawks are gonna win.
I mean, I tend to agree with you. Obviously, Darnold is a little bit of a wild card out of that perfect situation in Minnesota, but like it's not a bad situation here by any means. He's got weapons. He should have a good running game. His bookend tackles are at least elite. The interior's a little scary, but he shouldn't be like running for his life very often. He should have time and open guys.
I'm also just largely fading the 49ers. Like they don't have any
Yeah.
receivers left. Their running back might be dead. The backup is Brian Robinson, who's nothing. And their defense is quietly awful. Like I aside from Kyle Shanahan, what do they have?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just that, well, they have Kittle and they have McCaffrey, and people think Purdy is this elite distributor, and Trent Williams is on the line.
There's barely anybody left to distribute to.
No, that's very fair. But I think some of those names still pop out, and it's the pedigree. And I mean, Shanahan is a giant part of it. Like you can say, what do they have besides Shanahan? But it's like he's kind of the main, he's the focal part of that offense.
Yeah,
And as
they
long
do
as they
have
have
that.
him, they're going to be able to move the ball.
It's just like I don't even know how they're gonna function on offense with no receivers who actually like can play NFL football and know the plays. And it is Clint.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Plus, home dog division game. I mean, it's only 2.5, but still, I think it's a bet.
I mean, it's at least a maybe. I don't know if I'm gonna touch it, but I kind of want to touch it.
It's week one. Get some hot takes off.
I mean, shit. We can get plus 2.5 at minus 106. Yeah, we might have to do that shit, dude.
Yeah,
We know the two that we're definitely doing. Suddenly, and when I see Cleveland over Cincy, I don't like it. But when I think it, I do like it.
yeah, same boat. I mean, I think that for me, I'm just always like, well, that's the PTSD from decades of disappointment, but it makes sense.
Okay. Next game,
Hold on. So we're just putting it like at the top of the maybe pile. We're not betting it yet, right?
top of the maybes. We don't know. In fact,
Perfect.
I'll put a little star so people know that we don't know.
Next up, we have the Detroit Lions going to play the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are -2.
I don't want to touch this motherfucker.
Nope.
I think
Too many unknowns.
both of these teams are a little overrated. It's a close game. It's a division game. It's outside in the frozen tundra, which will probably be 77 degrees and humid as fuck.
And the Lions, they're just how we were talking about Shanahan being the secret sauce that keeps San Francisco productive. That might have been Ben Johnson for the Lions.
Probably was. We'll find out.
So, yeah, I'm fine with just kind of seeing what happens in that one and enjoying what should at least be pretty high quality football.
Yeah. I mean that game will likely be on one of my TVs. That game will be on one of my TVs.
Well, closing out the afternoon slate, we have the Houston Texans going to play the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are -2.5.
I want to bet on the Rams, but again, how can I do it when Matt Stafford could be dead?
Yep, I'm the same boat. I the Rams make sense here. If also we're probably getting some value because we think the Texans are overrated and the Rams are a little underrated. But that's kind of predicated on Matt Stafford being at least somewhat healthy. And has he thrown a football since last season?
Allegedly, but allegedly he's also a clone.
Yeah, so kind of the same thing as the game before. Definitely going to watch this game.
This is the
But
main game of the afternoon to me.
yeah, but I'm not gonna bet on that.
Like if Matt Stafford's totally healthy, I lean Rams. You've got the sick offense. Uh Texans
Only gotta get
defense
a
is
field
awesome and
goal.
it's what's that?
I said only gotta get a field goal.
Exactly.
Win.
And the Texans defense is sick. I love Stingley. I love both of the pass rushers, but offense wins. And then on the other side, like I just don't trust CJ Stroud at all, especially if he's going to be pressured whatsoever and Jared Verse will get pressure.
Yep.
It's a tricky game. I don't like it. I don't need to bet it, so I'm not gonna bet it. I lean Rams. Quarterbacks win, but man, Stafford was getting, falling off a little bit towards the end last year too. So there's a lot to learn from this game, but I'm going to use it as a learning experience. I'm not going to bet it.
Yeah, I agree. I think learning experience is the best way to put it. And on to Sunday Night Football, where we have the Baltimore Ravens going to play the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are -1.
This is tough because I know logically we shouldn't bet this game. We shouldn't bet this game. This is a close game between two great teams early in the season on Sunday Night Football. Anything could happen. But I'm probably going to bet this game because I'm going to be up 6 units and I'm going to look at my account that has too much money in it and I'm going to say, fucking the game. And then, like the Italian version of Joe Biden that I just imitated, I will bet the game. Um, I don't know how I will bet the game. And that's the problem because we've got the best quarterback in the league versus the best roster in the league. And neither of the teams has a real coaching advantage to me. Both of them have very average coaches with very average play calling. Eh, slightly above average play calling. Which offense should we examine first?
Let's do the Bills.
All right. The Bills are continuing in year two of building the entire wide receiver core out of slot receivers. And their two tight ends, both of which are slot receivers. And their running back, who honestly kind of runs like a slot receiver. And I like Cook a lot. Not Dalvin. This one is James. Nailed it
Yep.
again. Um, James Cook is really fast. He's really elusive. He's really shifty, but he's not powerful. You don't want him running up the middle. Kind of like a slot receiver. So they built the entire offense out of slot receivers, and then their quarterback's a tight end, and their offensive line is solid. I fear that the Bills' offense will struggle a teeny bit just because they love to run the ball, especially in the regular season under Joe Brady. And you just can't run the ball on this. I almost call them the Eagles and
Other
the Falcons.
birds.
This Ravens front, this dark colored bird of which the entire league is named after. Um, the Baltimore Birds will stop the run against any team. I just if you look at their front four, they've got three dudes who should be playing defensive tackle, and then Kyle Van Noy, who, despite his size limitations, is just really committed to stopping the run. Roquan Smith, great. Kyle Hamilton, you're going to have a linebacker playing slot cornerback. He's going to stop the run. They've also moved Marlon Humphrey into the slot in nickel and dime situations, which is crazy because like 3 years ago, he was the best cornerback in the NFL. And now he's their slot. But it makes sense because I really like Nate Wiggins. And then on the other side, they're going to have Jair Alexander, who's just wanted to be back with Lamar. And if he doesn't have a concussion, which sometimes happens, he's really good. The not having a concussion is the sometimes. Every other time, he's always concussed. So the secondary is insane. And the front four is stout as hell against the run. which means the only way to effectively exploit a weakness is Josh Allen run the ball or throw screens. The Bills do those things. And even if the Bills don't try to do those things, Josh Allen will make those things, right? Like he's going to run, he's going to create screens out of broken plays. The Bills' offense will be okay, despite the fact that the Ravens' defense is insane. Flip to the other side of the ball. The Ravens have an awesome offensive line. They have an awesome tight end. They have an awesome slot receiver. They have okay outside receivers. They have a really good, if not a little overrated running back, and they have a really good, if not overrated quarterback. The Bills defense has a shot in hell, I guess. Um, they're stout against the run. Like Greg Rousseau, perfect for stopping the run, just long arms. He's the new Calais Campbell. Um, Ed Oliver, sometimes Ed Oliver likes to play football, and when that happens, he's incredible. But when it doesn't happen, he's nothing. Which
The husk
Sanders
of
is
Joey
also.
Bosa.
They have the ghost of Joey Bosa. If he even plays, I don't. He's kind of in that Von Miller stage where it's like maybe he just doesn't play until week 14. Um, and to the extent he does play, maybe he rotates a lot, but we'll see. I like TJ Sanders, defensive tackle out of Southern Carolina. I guess it would just be South Carolina, but
Sure.
he's a cock, a gamecock. He's good. He's a powerful, like bull rushing defensive tackle, and his bull rush is really good. So this defensive line will be fine enough against the run, and Matt Milano can't be hurt week 1. So at least to start the game, they'll have good linebackers. The question with the Bills defense is always the secondary, but you don't have to have a sick secondary because Lamar is just not that good at passing. Yeah, he's much better than he was, but he's not. It's not going to dice you up from the pocket. I think we all can agree on that. The question becomes, are you athletic enough at the second level of your defense to not get run all over by Lamar? And something the Bills have in their favor is that, like, it's early in the season. Lamar's going to be, like, preserving himself a little bit, right? He's not going to be running as much as he would in, say, the playoffs. And the Bills already have a very recent example of how to play the Ravens because they did just play them in the playoffs. So they can kind of recycle parts of that game plan. But end of day, I mean, we're looking at two of the very best teams in the league. One because they have the roster, that's Baltimore, and one because they have the quarterback, and that's Buffalo. I don't know how to handicap who wins. All we have to do is pick a winner. I lean Buffalo because I think quarterback matters. But
I'm gonna lean Baltimore.
because everything else is Baltimore.
Yeah. And I just think they're gonna be able to run at will. They're gonna be able to control the game, and it's gonna have to be like Josh Allen has to be Superman for them to win that game. Whereas the Ravens just kind of have to like do their thing.
Yeah.
Plus, the Ravens typically start well. The Harbaugh always gets them ready. And the Bills had some distractions. Josh Allen with the audacity to get married during the offseason.
I'm
You
going to
think
save
he's
my
focused
thoughts
on
on that.
football?
I'm not talking about Haley Steinfeld. My
We
little
don't
sis,
need
my
to
little
get
sister
into
lectured me.
your, we don't need to let you be misogynistic on this podcast
I'm
on
not
top
it's not
of.
misogynistic. It's just a little hypercritical.
You just have a very specific frame for what women should be. And if they don't fit that frame,
Okay, hold on, time out. Does she have like a reputation for being like very uppity or something that I don't know about? I only know what she looks like. I honestly I've never even seen her in a single movie.
no,
I've
I
I've
don't think
just
she does.
I've just
I'm
Googled her
just
and I've not liked the pictures.
I'm just making fun of you, Joe.
Look, if Josh Allen's getting that, then all of us are worse than Josh Allen and we get less. So we need the market to be correct. That's why we bet on football games, to correct the incorrect market.
Anywho, I don't know. I think the Ravens just strike me as a team that they're going to be a little more sorted out to start the season. The roster as a whole is better and deeper.
Alex,
So,
some guys like to pocket watch. I like to penis watch. Okay. As you were saying,
um, so I just think that they have a better shot at starting the season strong. It's in Buffalo, but I don't think that matters that
no,
much for week
no.
one and when the teams are this close. Like they're
Exactly.
both so talented and good that I don't think the crowd comes into it as much. And yeah, I mean, I don't really want to bet on it either. I'm not going to bet on it,
You
but
shouldn't bet on this game. You should not, no person should bet on this game.
if we want to do a little a cigarette bet or something of I'll take the Ravens money line and you take the Bills money line
We
as
should,
just kind of like our leans.
yeah, we should do that. Well, let's do a cigarette bet. That might prevent me from wagering real money. And if you win, I'll mail you the laminated cigarette. I have to get it out of my storage locker first, but I'll go to Chicago, get it out of my storage locker, mail it to you, and then if I win, I'll keep it in the storage locker.
Or if you win, I will smoke one in Colorado and let the winds carry them to where you are.
I don't know how that works at all. I think you're trying to
Well,
appropriate my culture, and I don't like it.
all the westerlies, Joe, they go west to east. So when I smoke it, it'll be taken with the wind to you.
You're gonna paint with the colors of the wind too, Alex? Is that what we're getting at? Sing,
All
sing the
right.
song, Alex. Sing the song you're thinking.
Hold on. Let me go get my other Cleveland baseball team hat.
I got it, dude. The Savages song actually catchy as shit. Every time I think of it, it's stuck in my head. I don't like it, but I mean, I do like. It's a good song.
You're allowed to like it. That's the power you wield.
Hey, nobody's celebrating their thoughts, okay? But they did think them. All right, to my homeland. Yeah,
On to Monday Night Football. We have the Minnesota Vikings going to play the Chicago Bears. The Vikings are -2.
Alex's awkward pauses because I'm trying to get better about making timestamps and bookmarks for you viewers who ask for them, and we're doing it by slate of games this year, so I don't have to do 16 fucking timestamps every pod. That's ridiculous. But
Yeah,
anyway, Vikings Bears. I got another bet.
hit me.
You got to take Vikings -2,
I
right?
agree.
Like
I
so,
already wrote it in.
yeah, yeah. I know it's in Chicago, but first of all, let's go like top down handicapping. We've got Caleb Williams running a complicated offense that he's, a little bit struggled to pick up over the offseason. Not a lot. And we've seen in like the preseason game against the Bills, he can execute it. But that's him executing it versus a not so good defense with vanilla looks. Enter Brian Flores, probably the best defensive mind in the NFL. Brilliant at bringing exotic looks, disguised coverages, crazy type bullshit. And Brian Flores is used to playing against Ben Johnson. He's been in the same division as him for the last 2 years. He knows how shit works. I think that Brian Flores will be able to confuse and stress Caleb Williams to an extent that Caleb Williams underperforms in this game what he will perform the rest of the year, right? Like week 2, I think Caleb Williams will be better. This offense for the Bears will be better than week 1. Not only because they're getting used to the new scheme more, but because they're not going to be getting the kitchen sink thrown at them by Brian Flores. Um, Additionally, like Ben Johnson's biggest advantage is that he's brilliant, right? Brilliant offensive play caller. And so even though he's a new coach, like I don't really care because he calls the plays and that's what matters. But the cock also calls the plays. The cock being Kevin O'Connell. For those of you who are new here, we refer to him as cock. We love cock. KOC. Cock is also brilliant at calling plays, but Cock is not new. Cock's pretty old. Cock's been around. People are used to Cock. It barely even hurts anymore. And to the extent that there was any doubt that the Vikings would have great continuity, like, oh no, Jordan Addison got suspended for speeding, and he got suspended for like almost the same amount of time that Rashee Rice got suspended for almost killing a dozen people. Make it make sense, Roger. You won't. Um, Jordan Addison suspended, so he won't play. Justin Jefferson a little bit banged up because he just always is suddenly. Oh no, what are the Vikings going to do? Oh, they're going to go get Adam Thielen for a song and a dance, and he knows the entire playbook in and out and can play every position on the field. Maybe not very well anymore, but adequately. Um, so you're going to have a ton of continuity. Yes, JJ McCarthy's new, first year starting. He had all last year to learn the playbook. He had all offseason getting first team reps. And by all accounts, he understands shit real well. Now he's going to take adjusting, right? He's not there's a little Zach Wilson to this guy. He's got all the physical talent in the world. It's just a question of his mentals. And we don't really know what his mentals are because at Michigan, he never got to play enough football that we could see because most of his time was spent handing the ball off up the middle because Jim Harbaugh built an elite roster, cheated, and then ran halfback dive until they won a national championship. And then people thought that meant he was a good coach. None of that is a good coach. He did everything really well except coach the game. I
I
hate
mean,
the
college,
Chargers.
that's 90% of it, though.
Yes, in college, 90% of being a coach is being a GM and being a cheater. But in the NFL, you actually have to coach. Jim Harbaugh doesn't do that. Fuck Jim Harbaugh. Fuck the Chargers. They're ruining my boy Justin Herbert. Free my boy Justin Herbert.
All my homies hate Jim Harbaugh.
All the homies hate Jim Harbaugh. Send Justin Herbert to the Rams or the Bears so I could be happy. Um, I think that JJ McCarthy will have a decent time against this Bears defense for two reasons. One, this Bears defense is like quietly not very talented.
Hmm.
People talk about it like it's really good. Like, dude, it's hilarious. My entire family is just so meatball Chicagoan that they're like, I don't know if I believe in this offense, but I do believe in the defense. It's like you have it so insanely backwards, you fucking morons. They're like, the offense is never good, the defense always rocks. And it's like, you know that they're not like the Bears defense is not a guy.
I was about to say, it's because it's just 40 years of the offense is terrible, but the defense is so good that the team can still claw through.
They're like shit doesn't change. It's like, no, actually it all the time does. Like almost exclusively it changes. So you should change with it. Um, yeah, they don't do that. This Bears defense not great. I like TJ Edwards at linebacker. I don't like Trey Edmonds. Montez Sweat is decent, but that's it on the defensive line. Like Grady Jarrett's washed. Jervon Dexter is okay. And then they signed Dio Odeyenigbo. He was a backup for the Colts last year, and the Bears signed him to like a legitimate, pretty big deal to be their DE2. Yeah, he shouldn't start in this league. He probably shouldn't be a backup. I don't know if he should be rostered. Like he's nothing. He's bad. He's got good size, but he's like bad at football.
That's tough.
Yeah. I guess he was a second round pick. Probably shouldn't have been. Definitely shouldn't have been. And then, secondary, Jalen Johnson is great. Sometimes his shoulder stays inside of its socket, and that's awesome. A lot of the time it doesn't, and then he has to go off the field. Uh, but you're going to have Justin Jefferson routing him up because Justin Jefferson is a different level. Jalen Naylor is very fast, and he can take Tyreek Stevenson out of plays deep, and then Adam Thielen in the slot, right? Just being crafty, staying late, showing up early, bringing his lunch pail. His dad was a coach. He loves the game. He's not that fast. He's quicker than he is fast. It's
Sneaky
kind of
fast.
deceptive how fast he is. There's not a lot of melanin in his skin. He's a white guy. But yeah, it's too complete of a team. I mean, fuck, TJ Hawkinson's actually healthy this year. The offensive line is now sick. Like last year, the offensive line was decent. Christian Darrisaw's finally healthy again. Brian O'Neill is healthy. And then the entire interior is new and improved. Like Ryan, not Danny Kelly, Will Freeze, and then Donovan Jackson is a stud. Donovan Jackson could have been a first or second round pick as a tackle, and he got drafted as a guard. Should not have fallen to where he did. I think Aaron Jones is going to explode. I don't think this Bears defense will. I think this Bears defense will be middle of the pack.
Yep.
And it's a Dennis Allen defense. Dennis Allen's a really good defensive coordinator, but it's largely because he plays press man a lot and he blitzes cornerbacks. And you know what happens when you play press man a lot against Justin Jefferson and a really good offensive coordinator? Quarterback doesn't have to think that much. You throw the ball up and your star goes and gets it. So not only do I think that I see the Vikings' weaknesses, I think they're mitigated by this Bears team. I see the Vikings' strengths. I don't think that the Bears have answers for them. I love Ben Johnson. I think that this will be a high scoring game. But Brian Flores is going to trick Caleb Williams at least once or twice. And that's going to be the game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of the same boat. I just think that Minnesota's got a little bit better of a roster. Sure, there's uncertainty with McCarthy, but trust Cock, trust that McCarthy is at least solid. And, sure, he might make some mistakes, but I don't think that there are going to be as many opportunities for him to even make a mistake compared to Caleb Williams against a more creative defense and defensive coordinator. And Ben Johnson, agree he's a genius, but it's going to take a minute. I mean, it's not like a super simple concept. There's a lot of motion and reading that Caleb's going to have to get used to. And I don't know if that's a thing that is ironed out in week one against a rival that is a Super Bowl contender. So I think Minnesota -2, we get a field goal, we cover. I'm more than happy with that.
Yeah. And the rudimentary algorithm that's almost always wrong agrees with us. Like these are very similar teams in terms of end of year caliber. And one of them is going to need to grow into that position, right? The Bears need to slowly work themselves into being a really good team, whereas the Vikings are there.
Yeah, I agree.
And like if God forbid JJ McCarthy is just pissing all over himself, the Vikings have answers for quarterbacking or for bad quarterbacking offense, whether it's running the ball with their awesome offensive line, whether it is easy scripted plays. Whereas the Bears, if Caleb isn't able to function, don't really have an answer because they don't have the run game. They don't have the offensive line. And Brian Flores is going to be too smothering to allow for easy underneath completions and big yak.
Well, I think that wraps us up on week one. You want to put some final numbers on unit sizes and recap these bets?
Yeah, so we know we're betting Tampa over Atlanta for 2 units. That's locked in.
Yes.
And we know we're betting Minnesota -2 over Chicago for 1 unit. We know we're betting Jacksonville over Carolina. I guess it's for 2 units.
Yeah, I'm good with two.
I don't want to do 3 anymore.
Yeah, week one, uncertainty abound. I think two is plenty.
It sucks to be rudely interrupted in the middle of synthesis, but we're going to jump back in. We have to have Pittsburgh over the Jets. And I guess it's only for 1 unit, but we have to have it.
I agree.
So then our last pick is going to come down to the Browns over Cincy, which nobody else on earth likes, or the Seahawks over San Francisco, which we kind of only like due to injuries. But it's scary because Kyle Shanahan.
My gut feeling is that we do Cleveland
I,
because
I agree.
it's going to be more fun for us. And if we want to, we could still throw Seattle in as like a half unit, like bonus bet or something.
We should have a week one bonus bet, shouldn't we?
Hmm.
I guess we're doing it.
And then, of course, the cigarette bet of for Sunday Night Football, where I think the Ravens will win, Joe thinks the Bills will win, and we're just doing money line.
Cool. All right. So, week one, our five contest picks, our real picks. Oh, shit. Is it not? Give me a moment. It's week one.
Doesn't
So, we're going to be monkeying with the shit. Can I get a decimal point? Fuck. I don't want it. I'll fix that later. Our bonus bet is Seattle over San Francisco. Fuck San Francisco. All my homies hate San Francisco. I'm catching a plane to San Francisco in an hour.
You're a real hater. You go there all the time just so you can go hate and renew that fire.
I just need to go like see the locals and be like, hey, I fucking hate you. Also, all my homies hate San Francisco. Like half my homies love San Francisco and live there. So that's not great. My real homies. Stalin doesn't listen to this podcast. She only does the fucking opening intro voice. So yeah, all my homies hate San Francisco. Fuck San Francisco. Pittsburgh over the Jets. Why? The Jets cannot move the ball one time. They will not kick a single fucking field goal this season. I declare it. I'm only exaggerating slightly. 1 unit. Cha-ching. 2 units on Jacksonville over Carolina. Why? I love Liam Cohen. I love the fit in Jacksonville. Jacksonville's healthy. And Carolina is overrated because Bryce Young had 2 good games. Cha-ching. Cleveland over Cincy, +6. Why? Joe Burrow's overrated. That Bengals defense is terrible. And the Browns feel yuckier than they are. We are 1 year removed from this Browns team being a playoff team with this exact quarterback and roughly the same offense. And the defense got better. Cha-ching. Best bet of the week. Tampa Bay over Atlanta. Tampa -2. This is stealing. I love this bet. If Todd Bowles is half of what I think he's going to be this year, this number should be 6. I was trying to think of a punny way to say Baker Mayfield's going to make me rich again, but he's just going to make me rich because it's what he does. Baker Mayfield, 2 units. Cha-ching, cha-ching. Uh, Finally, Monday Night Football, Minnesota Vikings over my hometown Chicago Bears. Why? Brian Flores is just going to spin Caleb Williams head right round, like a record, baby. Round, 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 round. And also, just we love cock. JJ
So much.
McCarthy, JJ McCarthy homecoming game, the Chicago boy, his
Oh
his
yeah.
NFL debut in his hometown, JJ McCarthy revenge game, Vikings -2, 1 unit, cha-ching. If you, oh, dude, there are actually people who only listen to the recap and they're going to think we make bets for the dumbest possible reasons. Like if they didn't listen to the 2 hours prior to this of us painstakingly breaking down games. Um, this might be the fastest we've ever recorded a week one. It's
Yeah,
definitely the earliest because it's not 1 a.m. But I do have to go catch a plane.
yeah. Oh, also, we had the bonus bet, Seattle over San Francisco +2.5. That's a half unit bet.
Alex, I did that one first.
Oh, you did?
Guess who's calling? Stalin wants to make sure I get to San Francisco safely. What
Stalin
perfect
does
timing.
care about the trains and transportation.
Stalin is huge on transportation, but not planes. Never planes. Um, all right, with that,
Did we say the cigarette bet too? Did I completely space?
Cigarette bet is Buffalo over Baltimore. Joe has Buffalo. Alex has Baltimore. Why? Because fuck it, that's why. I like Josh Allen. And Alex likes like well-crafted football teams with deep and incredible rosters or something. Um, I think I know which one of us is right. It's not me. We're releasing this early so that you have plenty of time to try to get down on these lines. And frankly, because I'm going to be traveling for Labor Day and we wanted to make sure we got all of this content to you before the multiple weekday games next week. Um, and fuck it, if you lasted this long, Texas over Ohio State. Arch Manning's the truth. Quinn Ewers is terrible. So with that, I will be trying to quench the thirst for football with terrible college product in a terrible, terrible town. In the meantime, please bet on football games. Asta.